Okay, so Vim's key binding system isn't really that hard to understand. Here is a really basic example of a key binding. So what we can do is we can type map and then something that we want to map to. So I would say ink, and then what's going to happen when we type ink? Well, when we type ink, let's say I want to map it to, let's say, Control A, and then... So with this example, I mapped ink to Control plus A, and then carriage return. If you're under the age of 70, carriage return just means hitting the enter key, so don't get confused with that. Okay, so what can you actually do with this feature? If I just hit enter like this, and I type some number, so and then let's type 1. If I type INC, so I typed INC, and it incremented this number. If I type INC again, INC again. So every time you type INC, it's gonna increment this number by 1. This is pretty pointless because you can just do Control and then A, and that's a lot faster than typing INC. Now, what can we actually do that's sort of useful? Well, for example, what we can do here is, let's say I want to write a Python script. So let's exit out of this one. Okay, and let's type something out. So let's say I want to type print hello world. Perfect. Let's write that. Okay, so normally if you want to execute this script, so if you want to execute the script, you would do something like this. You would say, okay, quit, and then type Python, and then main.py, then main.py like this, hit enter, and then you get hello world back. Now, let's say I want to do this from within Vim. So inside of Vim, we can do something like this. So we can say colon, then this, and then say Python, and then pass in the name of the file that you're currently on. Click enter, and we get back hello world. So instead of typing out colon, and then, well, you're not really typing out the name of the file, but you're simply providing a reference to it. But so what can we actually do to make it so that Vim executes this with as few keystrokes as possible? What you can do is you can write something like this. You can say map, and then we're gonna map it to leader. I'm gonna get to leader later, and then you can say py-c, and then what is this gonna do? This is gonna do Python, and then the file, and then cr. Again, cr just means carriage return, so again, don't get confused. Whenever you see cr, just mentally imagine you're hitting the enter key. Okay, so if we take this, let's copy this, and then paste it down here, click enter. Okay, so what did I just do? You see leader, you see py-c. What does this all do? So basically, on your keyboard, you have a key, which is special to Vim, which is the leader key. If you did not set your leader key, it's probably going to be the /. So basically, whenever you see leader, it's just going to be the / on your keyboard, unless you set it to something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit / and then py-c. And as you can see, let's see, what did I get? Yeah, so we got hello world. Hit enter. Let's write this again. Again, / py-c. And as you can see, every time I type this out, I get just hello world back. I can do O and then print goodbye world. Let's write this, and then let's py-c. And as you can see, again, every time I type my leader key followed by py-c, it executes the script. Okay, so I hope this is making more sense to you. So what are we going to do next? Now, at this point, I think you should be asking yourself, what if I accidentally map to the wrong key? What if I accidentally, let's say, map to a key that is, I don't know, like if in some mode it's going to do something else entirely. And it is a possibility, and it is very likely that you are going to do this when you start mapping keys to random things. But the beauty of the leader key, just to remind you what the leader key is, I'm just gonna... So again, okay, so this leader key, basically if you plop this at the beginning of like your macros, or not the macros, but if you plop this at the beginning of your key bindings, what's going to happen is it's basically a guarantee. Well, not really a guarantee, but it basically makes it easier not to mess up and make it so that you type in like a wrong combination. So for example, if actually, does this work the way I think? So the main problem here is that if you did not have the leader key, so again, I'm just gonna open this like here and then paste this in. So again, if you did not have the leader key, so basically what would happen, so the main problem here is that if you did not have the leader key in this position, if you try to run this mapping, what would happen is you would paste whatever is in your register. So having the leader key up here is actually a good idea because it kind of makes it easier not to make mistakes like this. So if you forget that the P key is mapped to paste, then you would you basically get freedom to invent more mappings. Anyways, so again, in your mappings, always add the leader key. It's a lot easier to use than guessing whether or not some key is free on your keyboard. Okay, moving on. Oh, and just to remind you, the leader key on your keyboard is the /. So just to let you know, there are more ways to map in Vim other than just with this map word here. What you can do is you can do help and then type map. And what we can do here is we can maneuver to... We can maneuver over to this map mode section, click Control and then the closing square brace. And as you can see, if we just go down, let's move down a little bit. Ah, perfect. Okay, so here we go. Here are all of the ways you can map. So for example, there's map, there's no remap, there's unmap, and it tells you which modes this affects, right? So map, it affects normal mode, visual mode, select mode, and operator pending. I really have no idea what that means. We have nmap, that's for normal mode. Now keep in mind, this map doesn't work for insert mode, so the default map, the map word, does not work for insert mode. So what you want to do for insert mode is you would have to use imap. So if you want to create a key mapping, if you want to create a mapping, you would have to use imap. This lmap, that also works for insert mode. Anyways, so the basic thing you should understand here is that key maps are just a general form of map type, then some keys, and then finally a command. For example, let's say I have a bunch of numbers like this. So let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's say I want to replace the spaces with commas. Normally you could do something like this. You can do something like this. You can do S. So what we're doing is we're substituting, let's say, a space, and we're going to replace it with a comma, and then I'm going to do this globally. Hit enter, and as you can see, we substituted all of the spaces with commas. Perfect. Now, it actually takes a lot of key presses to actually do this. So what we can do here is we can create a mapping like this. We can say, anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say fcom, this is like format commas, and then I can say S, and then again, and then globally, and at the very end, you would have to type CR, and again, like this is the third time I'm telling you this, but CR basically just means hit enter. The literal meaning is carriage return, but CR just means hit the enter key. So I'm going to say CR, and I'm going to take this, so I'm going to just take this here, copy it, go to command mode, go to command mode, paste this in, hit enter. Okay, perfect. So let's undo what we just did, and let's hit fcom. And as you can see, we just, instead of writing out that substitution, what we did is we just typed it from the keyboard like this. So again, if you didn't get that, comma fcom, and there you go. Again, comma fcom, and again. See, it's pretty simple. Like it's really easy to, like, when you actually start learning this, it's actually really easy, and it's really addictive to come up with like new ways of doing things. So when you get started doing this kind of stuff, you're gonna like come up with like a whole bunch of mappings. But I think the general advice most people would give is don't try to remap like basic functionality. So if you have like some functionality such as like maybe like save, right? Instead of making a mapping to do like Control S to save or Control Q to quit, instead of doing that, it's better to just learn Vim, and then when you have the muscle memory like down, you're not even gonna like care about that. So for now, all I'm doing is I'm just showing you how to do like random stuff using the mappings. Now, another thing I would actually want to do here is I want to, let's say, clear this highlighting, right? So right after we run this selection, what happens is we have this highlighting left over. So we can get rid of it with NOH like this. And if I do this again, so fcom, as you can see, it comes back. So what we can do is we can actually rewrite this mapping so that instead of having, so we can rewrite this mapping so that at the very end, it also clears the highlight. So to do that, we can say map, and then we're gonna do fcom, and then we're gonna say s, so substitute, spaces with commas globally, and then do a carriage return, and then we're going to say NOH like this, and then another carriage return like this. Then hit enter. Then let's do fcom again. Whoops. Let's do fcom. No pattern found. What? Oh, the substitutions. Okay, so the substitution isn't finding a pattern, so I'm going to undo this. I'm going to say fcom, and as you can see, we're removing the highlighting. So after we do the substitution, we are getting rid of the highlights. So let's say I really like writing markdown, and I want to convert a couple of links to markdown links. How would I do that? Using Vim's key mappings. Well, let's think about it like this. Before you write out a mapping, it's actually a good idea to record it down or go through it once. So just to practice how it would work when you actually make a mapping for it. So let's say I have a link like this. I have, let's say, https google.com, and how would we make a mapping so that it converts this link into a markdown link? We can actually walk through this and do this in Vim before we make the mapping. So let's think about it like this. We can make a mapping like this. So what we need to understand is, what do we need to do to convert this link to a markdown link? So we're going to begin at the beginning, and we're going to click 0, and that brings us all the way to the beginning of the line. Then we're going to insert open and close square brackets. So click I, open square bracket, close square bracket. Okay, this is starting to look like a markdown link. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to insert a brace like this. Now we're going to jump all the way to the end of the line. So we need to click first escape, or go back into normal mode, however you do that. And then go to the very end of a line. So we're going to say shift and then +A. And now we are at the end of the line and we are in insert mode. And the only thing we have to do now is just do a closing bracket like this. And finally, what we're going to do is we're going to do Shift F, leave insert mode first. Do Shift F, and what we're going to do is we're going to look for an opening square bracket like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change inside this square bracket. So CI and then square bracket. And we can do something like hello. So this is mentally how you plan, let's say, a key binder like this. To take this from our mind and put it actually on paper, what we would have to do is we would type something like this. map, and then you can use a leader key or whatever key you want at the beginning. I usually just use a comma like this. Anyways, so what I'm going to call this mapping is MD and then link, or maybe MDL, which is a lot easier to type. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to recall from memory what I just did. So what I did is I went to the beginning of a line, so I clicked 0, then I went to insert mode, then I typed in an opening and closing square bracket, then I clicked, actually I also added a brace like this, then I clicked escape, so insert an escape character, then I hit Shift A, which is just capital A for me, then closing brace like this, and finally, I think, yeah, and escape. And then what we did is we hit Shift F to find something. So again, we're trying to find the opening, bracket to go there, and type in the bracket you want to find. And then finally, what I did is I wanted to do change inside of this brace like this. Okay, perfect. So let's see if this works. Let's just copy this. Copy. And then we're gonna go into command mode down here like this. And hit enter. And let's see if this works. So let's type another link. Let's say https google.com like this. And let's type out our mapping. So our mapping is again not here. So our mapping is MDL, and as you can see, that worked. Let's go down. Let's try another one. So maybe HTTPS and I don't know, yahoo.com, and again, comma MDL, and again, as you can see, that works. Perfect. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so another thing, let me think. What else can I show you? Oh, here's one. So what else we can do is we can run lines through a text-to-speech program. So we can do something like this. Let's say I say hello world like this. Now, normally in command mode, you can do something like this. You can say something like dot and then espeak and
hello world.
Now the problem here is that this espeak program, or the way that Vim works, it basically eats this line. So if anyone knows how to prevent Vim from eating this line, tell me, because I'm not really sure how to fix it. Anyways, so to make a mapping that basically just reads a line to you, you can do something like this. You can say, actually, let me get rid of this stuff up here. Okay, so we're gonna make a mapping that's gonna do text-to-speech on the current line we're on. And to do that, this should be kind of familiar to you, but basically just do map, and then you're gonna say speak, or maybe just S. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say colon, so current line, and then E speak. And then we're going to do a carriage return. Again, this just means hit enter. And then after that's finished, we're going to do U, simply because the way that Vim works is going to eat this line. So I don't want this line to disappear. I want it to come back. So as soon as this line disappears, it's going to come back. Again, if someone knows how to fix this, tell me, and I'll be really grateful to you. So let's copy this. Paste, hit enter. Okay, now let's go down here. Comma
hello
S.
world.
Again, comma
hello
S.
world. This is awesome. Remember to subscribe and pop that dang bell.
Okay, now that we're on the topic of just like silly stuff, another thing you can do is you can convert the current line into a cow say. Like, so again, you can do something like this. You say map, and then you can say cow say like this, and then we can map this to. We can map this to cow say, so like that. Let's copy this. Oh, right, I forgot to add the... Okay, so again, make sure you add a carriage return at the very end. So I can just say CR like this, and again, take this, copy it, copy, go to the bottom, hit enter. Let's go up. And as you can see, we basically converted this line into a cow say. We can do something similar with Figlet. So if you want an ASCII banner, so if you want to use Vim to format an ASCII banner, you can do something like this. You can say map, and then I would say something like Figlet, or maybe ASCII, and then we can say Figlet, and then CR. Let's copy this. Hit enter, and then let's type something. Okay, so let's try this out. Comma ASCII. Perfect. So as you can see, we basically just blew up. We just basically blew up this text into hello. So we basically just blew up this text from being hello to being hello, like I said, ASCII banner or whatever. What's next? What's next? Okay, so getting back to something more serious, let's say I'm writing a markdown file and I want to compile it and see what it looks like. We could do something like this. So again, like without mapping it, we can do something like this. We can say pandoc, and then I'm gonna take the name of the file I'm working on currently, and then I'm gonna output this as, I guess, the name of the file plus PDF like this. And then what I want to do is, after that's finished, I'm gonna pipe it to, or not pipe it, but I'm gonna make it open with mu PDF, and then again, name of the file .pdf, hit enter, and let's see what we got. I mean, I think it's because I didn't save anything, so let's save this. And let's run this again. Okay, so we have a bunch of random characters here. Let's try to clean this up a little bit. Yeah, so I was using .py extension, so I'm going to move this into... Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna delete all this stuff here. Okay, so I have a to-do list. So, okay, so to compile this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say pandoc, and I am going to basically... Okay, so this is gonna be pandoc. I'm gonna pass in the name of the file, then as the output, I'm gonna say name of the file, and then at the very end add .pdf and mu pdf. Then I'm gonna say then .pdf at the very end like this, and then hit enter. Okay, so we got, after many attempts, we finally got a to-do list like this. So we have a to-do, this is formatted properly. Let me see if I can actually make it a little bigger so you can see it. Okay, so we have a to-do list. Okay, so we have a to-do list, we have to-do as the header, we have buy eggs, buy milk, buy bread. Perfect. If we close this, we can go back to Vim. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something else. So I'm going to add a subheader, other things to do. Let's write this, and again, what we can do is we can go into command mode. Let's find this pandoc command, click enter. And as you can see, we basically updated this like this. Okay, so this isn't about, so again, this video isn't about necessarily talking about how to use the command mode. What this is about is actually how to show you how to do key mappings. So to write a key mapping to automate this, what you can do is you can say map, and again, we're going to do, I'm just going to say PDF here, then I'm going to do colon, pandoc, then take the name of the file, output this as the name of the file.pdf, and then I'm gonna say and mu pdf like this, and again name of the file and then .pdf, and a carriage return like this at the very end. Comma pdf, hit enter. And as you can see, we generated this PDF file. Again, we have our to-do, we have other things to do, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so if you enjoyed watching this video, remember to subscribe, and I will see you later.